for pre-need, funerals, burials, or cremation since 1975. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Funeral service for Rebecca Sue Marcantel, age 63, of Goodwater, will be Saturday at 2 o'clock from Oak Chapel Baptist Church in Goodwater, with the Reverend Jim Wilcox officiating. Burial in the Parkdale Cemetery. Visitation this evening, 5 until 8 o'clock at the North Chapel of Curtis & Son Funeral Home. The body will lie in state at the church tomorrow, 1 until 2 o'clock. Online condolences at curtissonsonfh.com. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel directing. Patricia C. Thomas, age 75, of Alpine, died December 26 at Grandview Medical Center. Funeral service will be held Saturday at 2 o'clock from Curtis & Son North, with burial in the Evergreen Cemetery. The Reverend J.D. Davis will officiate. Visitation Saturday from noon until 2 o'clock at the North Chapel. Online condolences at curtissonsonfh.com. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel directing. Funeral service for Miss Josephine Duck Garrett, age 71, is Saturday at Pleasant Hills CME Church in Childersburg at noon, with the Reverend Willie E. Frazier officiating. Burial in the Kingston Baptist Church Cemetery of Alpine. Visitation today at Community Funeral Home from 1 until 8 p.m. Miss Garrett died December 20th at Coosa Valley Medical Center. Online condolences at communityfuneralhome.org. Community Funeral Home, Sylacauga directing. Funeral service for Eva Lou Garrett Ledford, age 91, is 1 o'clock Saturday at St. Campbell Baptist Church, with the Reverend Richard Fair, the pastor, and the Reverend Raymond Garrett, the eulogist. Interment in the church cemetery. The body will lie in state at the church 1 hour prior to the service. And Ms. Ledford was a member of the St. Campbell Missionary Baptist Church. Online condolences at terrysmortuary.com. Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary in Talladega directing. Doris Rush died at UAB on December 25th. There will be a time of visitation Saturday at Tallahatchie Baptist Church in Alpine, beginning at 10 a.m. Visitation will be followed by a memorial service at 11. In lieu of flowers, a family asked that donation be made to the building fund of the Tallahatchie Baptist Church. Funeral service for Corrine Kirksey Story, age 87, is Saturday at noon from Union Springs Baptist Church, with the Reverend L.L. Jacobs officiating. Interment in the Union Springs Church Cemetery. Mrs. Story died December 20th at Diverse Care in Oxford. The body will lie in state at the church 2 hours prior to the service. A wake is scheduled this evening, 5 till 6:30, at the funeral home, Anniston Funeral Service, in charge of the arrangements. Funeral service for Mr. John Williams McCoy, age 70, of Goodwater, is 1 o'clock Saturday at Paradise Mission Full Gospel Ministries of Goodwater. Burial in the church cemetery. Arrangements entrusted to Armours Memorial Funeral Home, Alexander City. Mr. Fred Borden, age 75, died December 25th, Community Funeral Home announcing. Funeral service for Jan Arnett Foster, age 56, is today at 2 o'clock from Mount Canaan Baptist Church, with Reverend Horace Patterson officiating. Interment in the Midway Memory Gardens Cemetery. Mrs. Foster died December 21st. The body will lie in state at the church 2 hours prior to the service. Anniston Funeral Service directing. Funeral service for Miss Mamie Miller, age 92, is today at Mount Zion Baptist Church in Sylacauga at 1 o'clock, with the Reverend Kendall Burton officiating. Burial in the New Hope Baptist Church Cemetery of Sylacauga. Ms. Miller died December 22nd at Coosa Valley Medical Center. Online condolences at communityfuneralhome.org. Community Funeral Home, Sylacauga directing. Funeral service for Elder Lee Phillips, age 88, is today at 1 o'clock from Midway Memory Gardens Funeral Home Chapel, with the Reverend Troll Hill officiating. The family receiving friends from noon until 1 in the chapel. Burial in the Midway Memory Gardens Cemetery. Miss Phillips died December 22nd at Brookwood Citizens BMC in Talladega. And Midway Memory Gardens Funeral Home in Talladega directing. Funeral service for Charles Wayne Jones, age 65, of Alexander City, will be Sunday at 2 o'clock from the chapel of Radley Funeral Home. Reverend Wayne Henderson officiating. Burial in the Hillview Memorial Park. The family receiving friends this evening, 5 to 7 o'clock at the funeral home. Mr. Jones died Monday, December 24th at East Alabama Medical Center, Radley Funeral Home, directing. Funeral service for Mr. George Wayne Griffin, age 70, of Alexander City, is today at 10 o'clock from Bay Pine Baptist Church, with Brother Ed France officiating, Pastor Andrew Cullum officiating as well. Burial in the Bay Pine Baptist Church Cemetery, with honors provided by the Alexander City Veterans Honor Guard. Radley Funeral Home, directing. And funeral service for Ola Pearl Mims, age 91, of Sylacauga, is today at 2 o'clock from the chapel to Radley Smith Funeral Home, with Reverend James Long officiating. Burial in the Evergreen Cemetery. Mrs. Mims died December 23rd at Columbiana Health and Rehab. Visitation prior to the service today, 1 until 2 o'clock at the funeral home. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home in Sylacauga in charge of the arrangements. These obituaries this morning presented by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg.